I want to ask, let me take this to Muhammad Salim, engineer, actually first. Sir, I want to ask you, there have been previous attempts to also modernize the madrasa system. There has been resistance from within the seminaries as well, as far as this modernization process is concerned. What are your concerns when you hear the government say they want to modernize the system?
See, nobody can be against modernization of any educational institution. Madrasas are nothing but schools in which, other than the secular education, in some of the madrasas we have religious education as well. So we are never against, and we are not against the modernization of madrasa. Rather, we are doing ourselves. In madrasas, computers are being taught, and various other new facilities, multimedia and other things are being implemented. But the apprehension is that if the previous governments in various states, they are trying to intervene in the madrasa management system. They are trying to actually modify the syllabus according to their needs rather than the needs of the madrasa management. So the apprehension is the intervention, interference, the monitoring, and as we see that now the government at the center has a history about the Muslim community. The Gujarat model is there before them. So people are in apprehension that what this in the name of modernization, what kind of things are will be done.
All right,
so first the government should very well clarify that what they want to do under the madrasa.
Okay, Mr.
But nobody is against modernization. We are doing it ourselves, and if government want to help, then it's good.
Right, we get your point. Let's in fact take some of those concerns across to the BJP's Lalita Kumaramangalam. Abid Rasool Khan is also there. We'll come to him in just a second. But Ms. Kumaramangalam, first, can you address some of the concerns that have been raised? There is an apprehension in the community as well of what this might mean under the new government.
I think a lot of it is, unfounded, this apprehension. It has been made clear over and over again that the basic premise behind modernization of madrasas is to give backward or, comparatively more backward Muslim students equal access to the type of education that is available to every other community in the country. It is a fact that many government reports have found that the economic and social status, I am not talking about anything to do with religion here except the fact that these people belong to that particular community, is very, very much more backward than that of many other communities in a particular state. I'm not even talking just about the national average. Regardless of what state they come from, the majority Muslim population is still poor, does not have equal access to opportunity or to jobs, whether they are in government or private sector. And Muslim women's education is below 21%, 21.6%. And that is way below the average of the national level of women in India. Okay. Now, the apprehensions they have will of course be addressed. We are not going to force anything down anybody's throat. It makes no sense. What we want to do is, we have promised that we will give equal opportunity and equal fruits of the, of whatever development we are going to be now concentrating on to every community.
Okay.
In order to be able to access that, the first thing Muslims have to do is become educated on par with every other community.
All right, that's
this
a fair
is
point.
The only reason behind our scheme for madrasa modernization.
Okay, all right, that's
we have not said we are going to take over the madrasas.
Ms.
We have said we'll work with them to give these children an equal education.
Okay, let's get the Congress in on this as well, because as we have said right at the outset, this is not the first time an attempt like this has been made. In fact, it was made in 2004. It was then subsequently made in 2009 when Kapil Sibal was the minister at that point in time. Successive governments have tried this. Abid Rasool Khan, the UPA government tried, didn't manage to get this off the ground. What encumbrances did you face, and what do you foresee will happen?
Maya, first of all, I would like to appreciate the statement by Kumaramangalam on this issue. And we have been under the UPA working to get the Madrasa modernization project as well as the Madrasa modernization concept working. And initially we faced resistance, people were apprehensive as being told by the other speakers on your panel, but these apprehensions were addressed. Take the example of Andhra Pradesh, where we have about 2,000 madrasas, and about 1,241 madrasas have accepted and are drawing the benefit from Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan. We are talking about 1.5 lakh students who are studying there. So the apprehensions what has been told are not very serious, but definitely we require a larger debate. We require to address the apprehension, take the Nazims into confidence, take the madrasa managements into confidence and get it going. But the main point here is under the 12th and 13th plan, a huge fund has been allocated for schools, that is the regular schools. And BJP government should not shrink away from the responsibility of establishing these schools only on the concept or only on the premise that they are modernizing the madrasas. These schools demographically, geographically and on the ratio of population are required to be set up to get the Muslim community, as Lalita ji has said, on par with the other communities educationally. So that is one thing we need to work on. Okay. As far as madrasas are concerned, I don't think there is a serious objection as long as you address all the issues properly.
Okay, let's get Qamar Agha in on this as well. So you write extensively on community affairs as well. You've looked at the system of education very closely. Pretty much everybody agrees that the system does need to sort of come up to date with the current times that we live in, and yet you have a resistance. In fact, Deoband and seminaries in Karnataka have come out very clearly and said that they will not accept any changes in curriculums and syllabus and things like that. What is that resistance? Where is it coming from and why is it there?
It's basically coming from lesser clergy. They don't want any interference because they collect money, they bring money, they take donations from different sources, they bring money from outside, and they don't want any sort of accountability to that. So these are the groups, you know, which are basically opposing. As far as modernization process is going on, it's almost 15-20 years, you know, people are working, different NGOs are working, you know, computerization program is going. Aligarh University professors, you know, have introduced it almost a decade before, and many madrasas have adopted it. So this is the apprehension also. Then they think, okay, BJP is bringing, you know, there must be some hidden agenda behind it. They want to change religion also. So there is a need, you know, to address these issues, that there are two things, you know. You have a right to education, you have a right to religion also, you know. Nobody is going to change their curriculum which they have, you know.
Well, Prime Minister Modi did talk about computer in one hand and the Quran in the other.
On the other hand, you know, so nobody is going to change. What we need, you know, is the processes, you know, now, because they haven't changed any. Madrasa setup last 100 years hasn't changed.
Right.
The same setup is going on, method of teaching is the same, you know, no change. Now computer has come, modernization has taken place in then large number of students are going to these, in these madrasas, mostly from very poor background, as Lalita has mentioned, you know, these are the people, you know, go there. We have also seen, you know, the madrasas like in Rajasthan, there are many madrasas from where the very good scholars are coming out, you know, and they are joining government services. One madrasa student, you know, has become the IAS officer, you know.
Right. So let's take this back to, in fact, Mr. Engineer, who says that the apprehension is not as far as curriculum or modernization is concerned, principle, but government intervention as well and interference. I want to ask you to elaborate on what kind of interference or intervention you are fearful of, because if there is a centralized curriculum and the children who come out of these schools are entitled to sort of interact and get into the main system, isn't that ultimately in everybody's benefit?
Yes, see, there is a lot of discussion going on among the madrasa management as well and the ulemas as well, that what kind of curriculum should be there in madrasas which specializes in religious education, because there are different level of madrasas. There are some preliminary level of madrasas in which only the Arabic language and the basic Quran and other things are taught, and there are madrasas in which the secular education as well as religious education is a part of that, and there are some big madrasas which specializes in religious education. So at all these levels, modernization is going on, and people are adopting the latest techniques, the computer, the internet, the multimedia facilities and other things. They are trying themselves.
Right.
But what we feel that the government which is now in power has a history behind, and in Gujarat there is a lot of history in Gujarat that what kind of modernization they have done in Gujarat. The Muslim scholarship, the minority scholarship has not been implemented in Gujarat.
Okay.
And you can see that the people belonging to this government and the parivar which patronize this government have been telling for a long time that madrasas are the centers of terrorism and something like that.
Okay.
So people who are putting such an allegations on madrasas with this mindset, and when they say that modernization we want to impose, so imposition never would be tolerated.
Okay, right, Mr. Engineer, we get your point.
It is welcome that government should come and help our process of...
All right, we get your point. We'll get the BJP to respond, but Kamal Agha, you wanted to comment very quickly on this, and then we'll go there.
I just wanted to say, the Gujarat model cannot be implemented. He is now a Prime Minister. Most of the state governments are not run by the BJP, there are different governments are there. So Gujarat model cannot be replicated at center. This is a center scheme as well as funded by the states. So many state governments, they are not BJP. The other opposition parties are ruling that state. So this fear should not be there. Certain schemes were not implemented.
So you do think that this is in a sense becoming a bit of a bogey as well?
Second thing, madrasas belong to different school of thought. We have two broad, one Barelvi school of thought in Delhi, in India, and the Deobandi, So the Barelvis are having a different setup. They are very liberal. The problem is coming more conservative
from the Deobandi school,
from Deobandi school, and not all the Deobandi schools also. There are many madrasas. It's a movement. So some places, you would find.
All right, let's just bring the BJP in on this as well. Ms. Kumaramangalam, Mr. Engineer, sort of coming back to the same argument, where in fact even Kamal Agha is saying that the Gujarat model cannot obviously be implemented because we're looking at the entire country now as a whole. That's one. Do you think that in a sense the people who are opposed to this kind of change or opposed to drastic change are going to use that as a bogey to target the BJP with from time to time?
This has already been used as a bogey by several governments before us, wherein what is supposedly called, the minority mindset, which itself, according to me, is an unfair term. But the fact is that, even if you look at people within the Muslim community itself, those who have access to schools which are not, say, madrasas, there's a huge yawning gap between those Muslims and those who are poor and cannot afford to go, study outside of madrasas. I have nothing personally against any particular sect or any particular type of clergy running the madrasas, but the fact is that the Muslim community has to be got out of not only its mindset, but also given equal responsibility and equal authority within the Indian society. I think Mr. Modi once made a statement saying that, if one part of the body does not develop and is sick, then the body itself is sick, something like that he said, which is perfectly true. Muslims are a part of India. They're Indians basically, regardless of what religion all of us may belong to. We all deserve to get the equal, start in life, which is basically education. Every parent wants the best education for their children. And I have a feeling that despite what perhaps the ulemas etc. may say, the majority of people in the Muslim community want their children
modernization.
To be mainstream.
Fair point.
You can't be mainstream.
That's the point Kamal Agha is also making, that the majority of the people
are not recognized by universities, etc.
That's the point even Kamal Agha is making, that the majority of the people going to these institutions want that change. Mr. Engineer, you wanted to come in on this quickly. We'll take it back to the Congress after that. Go ahead, Mr. Engineer.
They want to study. They want their children to study science and medicine and have careers where they can advance.
Yes, Mr. Engineer, go ahead.
I just want to respond to that in Gujarat, the BJP government did not implement the minority schemes, minority welfare schemes, the scholarship schemes. So that is a history, and which is apprehending people. And other thing is that only 4% of students are going to madrasas. 96% of the students are going other schools, secular schools and mainstream schools. So when the minority community asked for the betterment of these 96% also, they asked for the reservation in schools or in education or in employment. I don't know how differently they act. And on the other hand, the 4% students go to madrasa, and we are modernizing it ourselves. We are ready to modernize, and we are ready to accept the suggestions of the government as well, and the funding of the government as well. But the present government in this center has to prove that the apprehensions which are there.
All right, Mr. Engineer, Abid Rasool Khan wants to come in on this. Mr. Engineer,
of ideology of this government.
Okay, we got your point, Mr. Engineer. Abid Rasool Khan wants to come in on this as well. Go ahead, Go ahead, Abid.
I have only 3 points. Yes, basically I take very strong objection to Mr. Engineer terming this modern education as secular and the modern schools as secular, in turn doing damage to the madrasas. It is not so. It is a scientific education that is being brought into madrasas, not a secular education. Now, the second point of his saying that the curriculum is in the stage of discussion is totally wrong. The curriculum for madrasas, that is the Islamic curriculum, is totally well established and over hundreds of years old, and there is absolutely no discussion or no differences in that. The third very important point is, when you are graduating from a madrasa, either you graduate equal to an SSC or you equal to 10+2 or a graduate or postgraduate. So the government in power should give a proper importance with all sincerities to people who graduate, for them to apply for the jobs in equivalent this thing. And if that is the case, I don't think there is any major issues which need to be addressed in this.
Okay, I think that's an important point as well, that the certificate must be valid as any of our other certificates.
It is already there are many madrasa students, who are joining university, colleges, the other universities, and some of them are professors, I know them. Second, some have become IAS officers, It's not that. Two things are very important. One is modernization. Yes, there is no debate. I mean, most of the people have accepted it. Second thing, transparency. Because of transparency also, many madrasas are objecting. Third thing, in the Arab world, it is already, most of the Islamic nation, it is already modernized.
Right. Okay, that's a good point actually. Radha Kumar Mangalam, you wanted to come in very quickly. We're completely out of time, so about 10 seconds, 15 seconds I'll give you.
Yeah, what I was saying is that basically this is exactly what the BJP is saying, that these children should be able to enter universities, higher education should be accessible to them, and for that they need to be on par. There is a huge number of students giving public exams for entrance into various scientific or non-scientific institutions when it comes to even the undergraduate level. Muslim students must be able to compete with them on an equal level. Even if we say that, we are giving them reservation, how long will that reservation actually succeed in bringing them up on par with the students who go to the other schools? And I agree with it. All schools, this is nothing about secularism. This is about giving them
absolutely. I think we're going to end it on that note, because I think one of the most
languages, etc.
All right, we're going to end it there, because one of the most heartwarming stories I read in today's papers actually was about a 6th standard student, a Hindu girl, who's been the topper of, and is basically studying in a madrasa in West Bengal. So I think we'll just leave it at that, and hope that, we can all agree that it's the children who need that quality of education to allow them to actually go forward in the world that we leave behind for them. Thank you all very much for being part of this discussion tonight.